257,536 bytes and 882 folders, 28,246,016 bytes and 233 hidden files, 2,265,546,752 bytes and 18,880 user files, 7,493,792 KB available on disk, 8,192 bytes in each allocation unit, 1,217,736 total allocation units on disk, 936,724 available allocation units. Close button.
Well, we didn't find out about everything right away. We found out that he was blind the morning after he was born. We didn't find out that he was deaf until the 5th day, the 4th or 5th day, and the day after that, we found out that he had life-threatening heart defects that, if not corrected within a year, would kill him. So it was sort of a bad week.
Everybody loves Tyler. He's your basic lovable baby.
Almost everybody will immediately think of Helen Keller.
Which we did.
Which we did.
We didn't know what to do. We were told he was completely blind, with no eyeballs, would have no light perception, completely deaf, wouldn't hear a jet engine, and we didn't know how to get in there.
But we knew we had to.
We knew we had to.
We tried fingered spelling. Then later on we found out that that probably wasn't necessary to do that for such a youngster.
Not appropriate.
Usually you would, use signs?
Use signs.
You know.
So then we started with a really basic, we started with a sign for more. And we took his hands and made his hands sign more as we said more before every bite of food, at every meal, for days and weeks. And eventually he did get it, but I don't know that there was an epiphany. I mean, I don't remember the moment that he got it, but he'd do sort of crude baby signs, but as soon as he brought his hands together, we knew what he meant, and we would whatever. And then he learned the sign for cookie, and he ate a lot of cookies because we reinforced that every time he signed cookie, we got him a cookie.
We were told he would not see any light, and we even took pictures of him when he was in the hospital, like day 8, and he jumped at the flash.
He actually has optic nerves that seem to be intact and some retinal tissue, and that's what picks up the light and the colors. He doesn't see shapes. He can't actually see the outline of anything. He doesn't have the structures in his eyes to support that. So we just started working very early with light wands in a dark room, and his whole head would track them. And we knew then that he was seeing something. And it really got to be very, very helpful. He learned colors off of a computer screen and a light box that looked sort of like an X-ray view box. We had colored gels, and we had pictures, and we would talk about the colors that he was seeing and what object the picture represented, and then hand him the object that matched it.
Where's the sunshine? Go find it. There's the couch. There's the window. Push some steps. There we go. Come on around. Let's go upstairs. There's a light on way at the top of the stairs. Go find it. Go on. There's the wood. That means you're at the top.
You're gonna go down?
Woo!
Chin up. Two with that chin up there. Good job. Fast, fast, fast. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. 4, 5, 6. You fell and tipped him. Okay, let's find more. You stuck.
They told us he couldn't hear a jet engine, and so we didn't know what to expect, but once it was determined he had cochleas, which are necessary to at least attempt hearing aids, he started using those, and we made sure that they were in all the time, from the time he was 3 months old.
Up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
He had a series of ear infections the winter that he was 4 and wound up with a permanent hearing loss beyond what he already had, which rendered him unable to hear much of anything at all. And then we panicked because we were used to him hearing, if you will. And so we got a hold of the cochlear implant surgeon in this town and made an appointment for a consultation, and he was implanted, and he did very, very well.
Like. Yes. Yes. Are you ready?
I am ready.
After the implant, his speech improved immensely, and he started being intelligible to just about everyone.
I'm going to turn your hearing aid off
I love it. Turn it off.
so you can listen to some words. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, wait.
Not me yet, no, I won't.
And it's unusual that someone continues to wear both. He has a cochlear implant in the right ear and a hearing aid in the left. And they produce very different kinds of sounds from each other. You can't localize sound without 2 ears. It's sort of like you can't have depth perception with only one eye. And we figured that it would be a safety issue later on, knowing which direction cars were coming from when he's crossing the street. So we try to keep using both, but it's really the implant that he's relying on.
Can you check if we're face to face? Are we?
There's a big controversy within the deaf community about cochlear implants, but it was never an issue for us, mostly because he wouldn't ever be an American Sign Language user because it's a very visual language, and we knew that he wouldn't become part of deaf culture because he couldn't receive sign language. We wanted more than a small segment of the population for him to be able to communicate with, and the only way for him to do that was to be oral.
Tyler, give us a definition of a verb.
A verb is an action.
Okay, give him an example of a verb, please.
Amble.
Amble.
You know what? That's not an okay sound, and you know that.
On the outside is
Yes, they're outside on the right.
top of my teachers.
Okay. Oh, I know inflation has struck, but in the meantime, how much were they before? Were they 10?
Yeah.
That's gone. That's a big increase. How much increase is that? From 10 to 16?
6.
6. I think that we knew he was a really advanced learner just because of his sign. And then later his reading. He's been reading Braille since he was 4. Telling time on a Braille watch since he was 5. He's known compass directions. He's known right and left since he was 2. He especially likes big books. He sort of dismisses books that aren't at least the size of a New York telephone directory. Everybody has their own thing, and reading just happens to be Tyler's thing. And I think that one of the things that really interested him in it early on is it was something he could do completely independently.
Right.
He didn't need anyone to help him. He didn't need permission. It didn't require any special, preparation or transportation. He could just open a book whenever and wherever he wanted to.
I like to read my magazines that I get every month. Like Popular Mechanics, which is a technology magazine. PC World is a computer magazine that I get. And I also get
That's
Science News, Muse,
Muse.
Stone Soup, Boy's Life.
Coaching Live,
Some Sports Illustrated for kids,
Spider,
and National Geographic for kids on tape.
and I also get books from my school library.
Usually the first question when he gets off the bus is, did I get mail? And we've actually had to try to curb his enthusiasm for reading because he's lately had a penchant for reading in the middle of the night. Sometimes 4 in the morning until 6 in the morning, which leaves him not a lot of energy for school. And he's fallen asleep more than a few times at school. And so I came up with what he considers to be unreasonable and terrible and barbaric and awful punishment of denying him his mail the next day. And he's very, very bad at hiding that he's been reading in the night because he never puts anything away. So if I walk into the room at 7 o'clock and trip over 6 magazines, and then I say to Tyler, "You were reading in the night," he'll say, "How did you know?" Well, he's won about 5 Braille Awards. Now he's won 3 national and 2 state.
He just thinks that's normal, and I'm like, Tyler, it's not everybody gets to win an award like that. He only entered the national. We don't know if he's won for this year. This would be his 4th year if he wins that, but we haven't been tracking him for his state competition.
Plus it gives somebody else in his age category a chance. I felt kind of badly thinking he might just dominate it until he graduates from high school.
This is the first time that Tyler, both hearing impaired and blind, has been going through the Shawnee Mission District. My goal as his teacher, one of his teachers, is to make Tyler as sociable, independent, and responsible as possible without anybody rescuing him. We're trying to encourage Tyler to use his cane more often by moving it back and forth, and we really don't want him to rely on anyone else. Tyler has his amplifier sound system near him. Sometimes I'll have the class come up in front. Tyler will bring his sound system up front with him, and I put my neck microphone on and my battery packet in the pocket, and usually that helps him participate and hear everything. When it's time to take turns, each child then passes around the neck phone so that they can be heard by Tyler. The Braille light helps him type things out, and then it's printed on the printer over there, and it's easy for me to read instead of trying to guess what it is. If it's something that's been brailled on the Braille typewriter, then his para, Mrs. Milliken, has to write the words above and below the Braille dots so I can understand what he understands. Tyler, he thinks because he can't hear anybody that nobody can hear him when he's talking out. So he has to be reminded from time to time that there are certain times that it's appropriate to talk and certain times that his voice is the only voice being heard. Are you competitive? What does it mean?
Like to compete or keeping score.
Are you competitive though?
I'm competing.
So that means that you want to win? Is that what it means? He has this thirst for knowledge. He can't ever seem to have enough. Of course, he's extremely mental. I mean, you give him a problem in the 10,000s, 100,000s, and he will give you the answer back. It will take him a little time, but he'll give it back to you. Normally what you say, he doesn't forget.
I like motors, engines, computers, all those other kinds of technology. People used to have to do everything by hand. It's good that Thomas Edison and Benjamin Franklin and all those other inventors and scientists got us up and running in the electricity, which is what I've heard before.
He's someone I can see eventually writing technical books because of his vocabulary.
Several months ago, we began discussing whether or not he would be a candidate for the gifted program in our school district. And there were some standard tests that they administer, some intelligence and some achievement tests. And we were pleased to find that his writing skills were age 31, or greater than age 31. There was a little greater than sign next to the next to the scoring, and his math and reading skills were about age 16 and 14, respectively.
I'd like Tyler to get into enhanced learning because Tyler showed that he is very skilled in all areas, and on his cognitive abilities test given in the fall, he had basically a perfect score.
We're hoping that the gifted program, which he's now been in for 2 weeks, will maybe provide him with some peers, because socially it's difficult. I guess for any kid who's really bright, it's difficult for any kid who's deafblind, and when you put them all together, which I don't think happens very often, it can be very tough. So we're hoping that he'll find some kids his age who are interested in discussing genetics or astrophysics or
how a combustion engine works.
My favorite subject is PE. Playing water games like kickball and soccer and football and hockey. All those sports.
Out at recess time, Tyler loves magicians. I think Tyler couldn't visualize magic. He had no concept of magic. So at the beginning of the year, I did some magic tricks with him. Tricks that he could feel, like the egg in the vase and the disappearing scarf, and let him hold the handle and move it so he could see how the scarf was hidden under the metal section in another hidden area or a compartment. So now he has such a concept of magic that the Harry Potter books, I mean, Tyler has read all of those and then some. When he goes out to play, that is his favorite activity on the swinging bridge. He likes to be a wizard.
Our hopes for Tyler's future are that he continue to be as advanced and gifted as he appears to be now. We just really think that the sky's the limit. Asked recently what it is that he wants to do when he grows up, he usually responds, be an ophthalmologist. And he's already declared that he will have assistants to do the examinations, and they will tell him what they see, and then he will make determinations based on that information. I mean, he sort of has it all figured out, and so we have figured all along that our job is just to, make sure that he is able to do whatever it is that he wants to do and is able to do. He can probably do just about anything.